Can you tell which one of these objects is a two-dimensional shape and which one is a three-dimensional form? If you said that the object on the right is a three-dimensional form and the object on the left is a two-dimensional shape, you are correct. When artists are drawing three-dimensional forms, they use a variety of tricks with value and lighting to make the objects they are drawing appear to be three-dimensional and come off of the page. Today I'm going to discuss with you a few of those different tricks and things that you need to consider about objects and lighting and shadow when you are drawing. The first thing artists consider is the light source. The light source will depend on where the highlights fall on your object and where the shadows are on your object. And a light source can come from a variety of different sources. The sun is a light source, lights are light sources, fire, even cell phones and computers can be a source of light. So anything that provides lighting will cast light onto the object. Take a minute to look at the balloon and think about where the light source might be. Look at the object and think about where the highlights are the strongest, where the lightest part on the balloon is, and think about where the darker values on the balloon are. The side where the lightest highlights or values are is where the light source is. In this case, the light source is on the right side of my object. That light source could be moved depending on where or what the light source is. So if I move it to the top, you'll then see that the highlight is then on the top of the balloon and the shadow is down below the balloon. One of the things you can also look at is where the cast shadow is. The cast shadow is a shadow that appears on the surface that the object is sitting in. The cast shadow will fall in the opposite direction of where the light source is. Another thing that artists look at is bounced light. Light can reflect off of surfaces that objects are sitting or resting on. We can look at this balloon and the highlight is at the top, and as we go down the balloon towards the bottom, you'll see that the balloon starts to appear to be darker. When we get all the way down to the bottom though, you can almost see the reflection of that pink color of the paper that the balloon is sitting on reflected into the bottom of the balloon. So if we are working in color, we need to take into consideration the color of the objects that are around what we are drawing. And if we are working in black and white, then we need to think about the light actually reflecting off of the surface and creating bounced light, which is a slight highlight at the bottom of the object that we're. Another thing to take into consideration is how close is the light source to the object we're drawing. The further the light source gets from the object, the larger the highlighted area and the more muted the highlighted area is. The closer that the light source gets to the object, the stronger the highlight we will have and the smaller that area will be. So I'm going to move my light source once again and we'll put it a lot closer, and you can see that that light is a lot closer to the object. It's causing a very bright highlight on the balloon. And as we move it further and further away, you'll see that that highlight gets smaller and smaller and more muted. Another thing that artists need to consider when drawing is how the color of the objects will affect the highlight, middle tone, and shadows on the object. So let's take a minute and look at this balloon in black and white. I have now switched the balloon out with a green balloon, and we'll look at that in black and white also. One of the things that I want you to notice is that the whole value of the balloon is more gray, and even though there's a highlight in it, it is not going to be bright white. And another thing that you'll notice is that the shadows on the green balloon will be darker when it's changed to black and white. I have set up a simple still life with 4 objects that are all pretty light in color. And I'm just going to move the light source around so you can see how different shaped objects may affect where the highlights and shadows are on the objects. Once I've set up my still life and have the lighting in a good position, I'm then going to take a look at what it might look like in black and white. Now I'm all set to work on a still life drawing, and I could use pen and ink, I could use pencil, charcoal, or I could work with some colored medium. I hope that this video has helped you to think about light and shadow and form in an artistic composition. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.